doing this video on Sundays, I am probably not going to do a recap. Hold on, I want to change this. So here, I think on Sundays, that'd be a good time to just do, a check-in. And I don't have an opportunity a lot to talk to the chat when I'm doing a recap because it just goes so fast. So get comfy. I've got some tea. I've already stained it with my lipstick. Hey, Happy Healing Train. Melody, good to see you. Sins of Scientology. Hi, me and Taz. Hey, Ann. Maria. Arkansas Flamingo. Thank you so much to Mama Opal, too, my moderators, for being here. Hey, Sandy McKenna. And everybody else who is here. I appreciate it. Okay. So, here's the deal. I'm super pissed. I know that anger is part of the grief process. And if you're new to my channel, 2 months ago, I lost my partner. But I didn't think it would happen to me. It just sounds funny and ridiculous even saying it. Hey, Kelsey, Julie, Sparknell, good to see you. It is so a part of it. I did not realize how much a part anger could be of grief. And, I've been reading all the books. Hey, Kathy, I am Shalene. Is it Shalene? That's so pretty. The Journey 2020. Thank you. I'm reading Healing After a Loss. I'm reading Signs, or I've just started it. And it's okay that you're not okay. And thank goodness, because I am understanding that what I'm experiencing is, I guess, normal. Hello, everybody coming to the chat. Show that like button some aloha. If you're watching on your phone, I just learned that you can double tap the screen and it likes it. I didn't know that. Hey, Afila. Nancy. Hi, Monica. So recently, okay, I'll just tell you guys what happened the other day, even though, well, whatever. I'm not going to judge it. I'm doing my best not to judge me processing my emotions. So I got really mad at Odin because I don't even remember. I might have told you guys this, or you know what? I think I talked about it in a members only video. And I locked myself in my bedroom. Keep in mind, this is like my house. It's me. There's the dog. I locked myself in my own bedroom because I was pissed at the dog, or I thought I was. And I called a friend and she helped me understand, oh my gosh, that's right. I'm just kind of experiencing some anger. And I'm also doing things right now that are really stirring it up. Like I'm cleaning out the garage. Hold on, I need some tea. Somebody was super sweet not that long ago and sent me a whole bunch of herbal teas, and I'm trying every single one in the box. This one is orange, and I am a fan. Yep, DNV, you're right. Anger is part of grief. It's normal. I read that. I see it. I'm just starting to believe it. So I locked myself in the bedroom. I'm talking to a friend of mine who helped me understand, again, that anger is a natural part of the process of grief and losing someone. Oh, Mike, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry for your loss. You lost your wife of 1 year to cancer in 2009. Wow. And here you are, Mike. I'm always amazed. I as much as, of course, I feel for people who've lost somebody, but it's always gives me hope when I see that they're here. That makes sense, that they're here and still engaging and living life, because that's what I'm trying to do. So I've been going through the garage. This is part of what made me so mad. And there's all these things that there's just so much stuff. And I am not a stuff person so much. Tony, he collected quite a few things. I called it hoarding. He called it collecting. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. This time I had the Kleenex nearby. I'm catching on. So I'm going through the garage. The man had so much clothes, so many clothing items, because he had a men's clothing store. And he grew up around men's fashion because of his father, who had a store. Well, Chantel says, I was angry for a long time after my mom died, mad at her, at the doctor. She died suddenly, unexpected, complication from surgery, and of the world in general. It's still there some days. I hear that. I totally hear that. So in going through all these things and going through his clothes and all of these jackets, I'm just like getting so angry and taking like, he had so many guitars because he played guitar, electric guitars, acoustic guitars. And I go in the garage and there's all these guitar cases. And the garage has this loft area where you kind of go up this ladder and it's storage. And I had to put them up there, but it's hard for me to go up a ladder and hold something. So being I was pissed anyways, I threw them. Now there were no guitars in the cases, so I didn't break a guitar. But I just started chucking them up in there. And it felt good. You know, I don't think I destroyed the case or anything like that. But it felt good. So it got me thinking, you know, there's this punching bag that Tony had that's not up, but maybe I put it up in the garage. I found his gloves. Maybe I just let it out on a punching bag because it felt so good to just throw those things. And I don't want to do anything destructive, like break things, because guess who's going to have to clean up the mess? Me. So I was thinking maybe of just doing the punching bag and see how that goes. I got to get somebody to help me install it. But it surprised me at how angry I've been. And it seems it conflicts with, you know, as someone who grew up in Scientology, I was raised in a cult, left when I was 40, so almost 14 years ago. And having to control our emotions and, you know, suppress anger unless it was directed at somebody below you, which is stupid. It feels very odd and weird to, you know, be mad. Be mad at him, not be mad in general, just to be angry with him. And I know it's part of the grief process because there's not even specific things. I'm mad at him for having so many guitar cases. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. I know it's being triggered by having to, you know, I'm going through and cleaning up these things and being like, oh my God, why is there so much? Why does he have so many things? Because when he was alive, we talked about this and it was something that we knew we were different on. I would always encourage him to get rid of some things. And then he would tell me, why are you throwing that away? Or why are you donating that? I've just found it to be, at the same time as I'm going through his things and a lot of his clothes, I'm also, I don't know, it makes me feel closer to him. And so I'll find it, in fact, some of his jackets I'm keeping because I can reach them. I mean, fit them still. So I grabbed a couple of those, but there's just so many. And then I get mad all over again. Like, why did you need to keep so many clothes? And it just seems like odd things to be mad over. But because I know it's part of the grief process, I've been just trying to roll with it. And okay, if I'm mad, then I'm mad. Then I'm just going to, you know, throw things. But it just surprised me so much. Let that stuff out, right, Amy Jo? You're right. Capricious Caroline, that's such a sad thing to say. We care. Oh, I didn't see whatever that comment was. Yeah, Misfit 76. You've been going through your mom's clothes. Totally. And DNV 1983, you make a great point. You started learning to let grief or emotions out. That was only 14 years ago. It's understandable why this is difficult. And the other thing that I am working through is that I met Tony 2 years after I left Scientology. And he was so much a part of my healing. And I talk about how so many of you who've never been in Scientology, I so appreciate you and your comments and your feedback and how you see things, because it helps me to see it not only through whatever residual, cult mentality I have or what I believed before. It makes me question. It makes me question things in a way that I didn't before, and I appreciate that. Where the hell was I going with that? um, that's right. The other thing I was working through. Oh my God. I swear to God, I have grief-induced dementia or ADHD. It'll come back. Patsy, that's exactly it. Angry because you're left alone to care for things you didn't think you would have to. And he just gives you a new assignment. Exactly. Exactly. Or when it's things like I just had to have a bunch of trash hauled away. Um, when he would have energy, he would build things out of these recycled wood that he would get from this Polaris dealership nearby. And I kept telling him, like, we don't need all that wood. What are we going to do with it? How are we going to get rid of it? And you couldn't just put it in I don't think you could have made a fire with it because there were like metal hinges and stuff on it. I guess you could have taken them off, but I'm not going to do that. So, getting it all and then having to pay somebody to take it away to the dump, because I looked up like, okay, what are the dumps near me? What do you have to do? And I was like, oh my gosh, this would take me, even in our truck, like multiple trips. So there was a local person who did it. And anyways, long story short, they came and picked a bunch of stuff up. Stuff that we hadn't gone through because Tony was sick for almost 3 years. So when he would have energy, it wasn't, neither one of us wanted him to spend it going through stuff. We wanted to do other things. Afila, yeah, his sons want some of his things. Quite a few. Quite a bit of it. So I've been packing up. I've been taking out the items I want to keep. And then I've been packing up in bins and with tissue items for his boys to go through because his oldest is in college. And the youngest is starting his senior year in high school. And their mom will keep some of it, like family mementos and things, but she doesn't have a ton of space either. So we're figuring that out, what to hold on to and what to, donate, what to let go of. But the boys have not been able to go through everything, and I want them to have that opportunity at their own pace. So I told them that, excuse me, I hate doing this online. I told them that I would keep it because I have a storage spot downstairs and I'll hold on to the items as long as I can. As long as I have the space. Because for now, I'm staying put where I am because I like it. But, in the next year or two, I might want to downsize. I just don't know. But, so it's like packing up these items, holding on to what I think his kids are going to want to still go through, which they'll probably do maybe at this point next summer or maybe over the holidays when his son comes back from college. But so I'm looking at it like, we have a year to do this. But some things, I need to pack away now. Just, I don't know. I just feel that way. They go through things slowly. I'm more like, I want to go through it. I want to grab what I want to keep. I want to pack up what's for the boys and then donate what we're getting rid of. I don't like a lot of clutter. It really makes me a little, it makes me uncomfortable. I don't feel relaxed in a space that has a lot of clutter. And what I considered clutter was very different from what my Tony did. And, so I'm just trying to create this space so that I can, relax and not go into the garage with my car and, trip over things or bang something, all of those things. So this whole process of doing all that has just left me angry, just mad that I have to do it. Bad Thayton says, when my uncle died, I had a t-shirt of his I kept in a plastic Ziploc bag. It smelled like him for a long time. Eventually it did go away. Yeah, I feel that. And thank you, Antics of a Mama Squirrel. I appreciate that. Let's see what I missed here. Law Nerve fan, thank you. We maybe never end, but we are all here for you, girl. I appreciate that. And that was the plan. It was Tony's plan. Um, well, then became my plan, just in creating this community, how we can be there for each other. And at times like this, when, I can go on the channel, we can talk about exactly what we're talking about. It's just hard to do sometimes. I much rather, I tend to want to work through it alone, but that doesn't help. It actually takes longer when I do that. Kestrel, I'm angry. My mom didn't prepare me for losing her. I feel like she trained me to rely on her, and now I can't. I hear that. Oh, okay. I remember what it was. Thank you, Kestrel. You reminded me of what I was going to say. Is that I met Tony 2 years after I left Scientology, a cult I'd been in for 35 years. And for the next, well, we were together almost 11 years. It's our anniversary on Friday, which would have been 11 years officially. I mean, we pretty much almost made it to 11, so I'm going to go with 11. But our 11-year anniversary is this coming Friday. So Tony was so much a part of my healing from Scientology, and I grew so much in the time we were together. And the last, since he got diagnosed, which was, like I said, almost 3 years ago, I kind of feel like I had gotten to this point in my healing from my past, growing up in Scientology, that I was a much better person. And I'm enjoying life more and engaging and more taking his lead on. Tony was very spontaneous, and being more spontaneous and engaging with life and all of that. And I feel like he was there for so much of the worst of it that I was working through. And he helped me with so much of that by nature of who he was and how he loved. And I feel like the last couple of years, even with him being sick, was about when I really started feeling so much more myself. Like I felt like I made this huge leap in who I am outside of Scientology. And I'm mad that he didn't get more time with that Natalie. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? He was such a part of my healing. And there were so many things that we needed to work through, and we did, that were really challenging on both our parts. We were both growing, learning and loving, like Lara FM says. I'm going to listen to some of her music later today. It always makes me feel better. And, I get mad about that it was me growing and learning and getting better and recovering from this cult, but he was such a part of it. And then when I got to the point where I felt like I'm going to be okay, he only got, a few years of that Natalie. And then I get pissed about that. I feel bad about that. Not that I was massively horrible before. Just different. I was still healing from being in a cult for 35 years. And I've mentioned before early on my channel that it's really been the last few years that I've really felt myself and confident in who I am. Ophelia, thank you. He saw the Natalie, I'm sure. I think he did. He would often say that. Like, he saw so much more in me before I ever saw it. That, you know what, Ophelia, that's a really good point. I didn't think about it like that. Hold on, I'm going to blow my nose, and I just figured out how to mute this. Okay, nose blown, feeling better. So I think you're right, though. that he could see me and who I was, because the things that he would say about what he loved about me, I wasn't completely seeing in those early years. But when I did, then, that's what I'm saying. It's like he only had a few years with me, really being, feeling more me like I do now. I just wish he had more time. But I think you're right. I know, you're right. He did see that before. He always saw so much more in me than I did for a long time. And then that changed and I started to believe him. And when I started to believe him, I started to see it for myself that, wow, I've come a really long way. And I'm actually really happy with who I am today, despite the things that happened in my past. I've been able to learn too from that. I continue to learn from my experience growing up in a cult. When I go back and I look at things and I process it and I talk about it with you guys, I continue to learn and heal from that. And one thing I'm realizing right now in real time is that, I always knew Tony was such a gift in my life, but how I have so much gratitude over the fact that I did have him at that time. Like, he came into my life at the right time and helped me in ways that I don't know that even therapy could have, because it was the way that he loved me. It was the way that he would make me engage and take time off from work and, just be a normie, a normal person. Just engage with the real world more. And I am so thankful for that. And that's how I'm realizing, like, it's true. Both things are true. I don't feel like he got to experience me in the ways for a longer period of time with when I really got on board with me being happy and all of that. But also, I'm so thankful that he was there because he was such a huge part of my healing. I'm so grateful for that. And now that I think about it, it's like, in ways, it's not, of course I would have wished that he didn't die and that he didn't get sick. But what a gift. And I would tell him, but I think he knew. I would tell him, like, how much I appreciate how much he loves me and has loved me and helped me in so many ways. But I don't know that he ever really realized the real impact of that. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But I am feeling a bit more, grateful for the time that I had with him. See, this is why I talk to you guys like this, because it helps me process. And yes, there's therapy and other things and all the good tools. But I think it's because so many of you got to know him that you know, like, I don't have to explain to you as much who he was and, what our relationship was like. Hey, Lori Plays. LA Lily, I was mad at everyone, including my partner and God, when he died. It does take time to work through all the emotions and return to some sort of normal, though it's never the same. Carol, I hope someday to find what you have. You both made me smile. Thank you. I appreciate that. Me too. So I am Shalene. Yeah, he knew. Yeah, Deb, I think he did know. The more I think about it, I think he did know. Me and Taz Tony did understand. That's true. All I have to do is go back and watch the videos that he did with me, and you can see, he understood. And I know it helps me to, when I'm mad, and I'm trying to process that. And the other half of that equation is, I feel a sense of overwhelming gratitude for the time that I did have him and for the time that we were able to live our life together. And I'm so appreciative for that. And definitely, he made me a better person. Helped me be a better person. Helped me want to be a better person, more importantly. And just try to, love in the ways that he was capable. His ability to love was so huge. I always felt like it was so much larger than mine. And then I came to realize too that I love differently. Our love language was actually different, but we knew what it was for each other, so we were able to make that work. But I am really, those videos were his gift to you. Yeah, Carol, I think you're right. I think you're right. I'm just really, I go back and forth. I'm super pissed and I'm so grateful. And I'm super pissed and I'm so grateful. Tony definitely saw the changes in you and marveled in it. You could see it by the way he looked at you. Thank you, TN Treasure Finder. Oh, and thanks for the reminder on the like button too, Miss Daisy. There's a TED Talk out there from the writer of the Young Widows Club. She has the great quote, "You don't move on, you move with them because you carry Tony and his story with you." You know what? I've heard that. Is that Mutter Railer? Yeah, I've heard that. And it makes so much sense to me, and I feel that way. I feel like he's all around. Sometimes I feel him more strongly, and other times not as much. But I think you're right. That's how it feels. And you know what? This book here, the "It's Okay That You're Not Okay," talks about that too. You know, moving on with them, not from them. Thanks, Groovy Witch. Boys, I appreciate that. Original Anne, thank you. I just can't believe it's even been 2 months. I'm reading your comments. I'm catching up. Yeah, Lauren, it's the best book. It's a good one. I have the book and I'm listening to it on Audible so that when I'm walking and stuff, I can listen to it as well. Thank you, Mountaintops. You're right. And he and I would have conversations about what life would be like for me after. We refer to it as the after. We'd say, well, you know, after you should do X, Y, Z. Tony was my biggest cheerleader, and he had said that he said many times, "I'm so glad that you got on YouTube because now you have, you know, almost 21,000 cheerleaders." And love from so many people, and friendship and connection. And I'm so thankful for that because it's such a lifeline, because you guys, many of you got to know him. And even for those of you that didn't, you can go back on my channel under live and find a few of the, I think I did 4 videos with him. But you still, I think, can relate in so many ways because we all lose people. And it sucks, but it's just part of the whole circle of life, which sounds like such a cliche, but it's going to happen. We're all going to die. It's just so shocking to us still when it happens, and it's tragic when it happens sooner than we think it should. Don, when the unthinkable happens, when everything goes from ordinary to chaotic, and there you stand in the mess of it all, forever a before and an after that day. That's true. Happy Healing Trade. We all fell in love with him, with both of you. I appreciate that. And I know he did too. That's the thing he would talk about, you know, after just, you know, hop online and just talk to people. And I have friends in, you know, in real life, not online as well. But it's so nice to be able to share with you guys and share him and those memories in that way. Emotions are complex. We can feel a lot of different contradicting emotions at once. You're doing great. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hold on. I'm just going to blow my nose again. I have almost gone through the entire case of Kleenex, which somebody sent me. Thank you for that. That was so smart. I want to do that for somebody when they have a loss, because that box of Kleenex, I mean, I've just put it everywhere and it's come in so handy. Thank you, Dip. Thank you. I appreciate that. James Steele, what do you mean in real life? I know that sounds funny. That's not a great way to describe it, but yeah, you know what I mean. Off the internet, people who live in my area. So Squirrel Girl, my mom suffered horribly the last decade before she passed. I was so mad at God. After she passed, I wanted to be mad at her, but I couldn't. She showed me how to pass with dignity and grace. Wow. That's so great. Gia, thank you. Yeah, Lauren, you're right. It is. It's such a roller coaster. And I knew that it would be. And there are a couple things that shocked me. One, the way that it comes in waves. How I can be really happy in one moment, right? Or truly just feeling happy and feeling good about things and still feeling that ache, but like I'm going to be okay. To, being so mad and crying and upset. It just, it's just this roller coaster. And I know that the important thing is to just, all I can do is write it. And writing it and expressing the grief and letting the tears come and letting the anger come is part of it. And that's what's going to help me through it. Because when I do that, I know that works because I feel better afterwards. I do. And then I'm happy and more content and getting done the things that need to be done until I get hit with the next wave. So I'm doing my best not to judge it, but just to experience it, but also, really pay attention and learn from it. SP, never end. Your love for each other was palpable on screen, and your anger is a natural part of the grief process. I'm realizing, watching, that I haven't dealt with mine. Oh, yeah, you got to deal with it. It just has to come. It happens to me sometimes out in public. I mean, I've had to excuse myself more than one time from a table or go outside from a store or the post office where I get dog food. I mean, I've cried everywhere. And I feel like once it just makes it easier to go back there. It's like all the things I have to do for the first time without him triggers a lot. But then once I do it, I'm able to do it after that. Like when Aaron and Jenna were here, my favorite restaurant, Yumi's, which they have sushi, and I love it. And it was mine and Tony's favorite place. I felt like I couldn't go there. So when they were here, we went and we ate there. And now I feel like I can go back. That's a nice thing too, is doing some of these things for the first time, but doing it with a friend, I'm finding helpful as well. Doing it with a friend, like going to that restaurant with Jenna and Aaron, and the staff didn't know, and they knew Tony, and so I told them. But it's like it was the first time. Now I can go back there, which is good because I love it there. And I've done other things like that where, I'll go with a friend and then I feel like I can do it on my own afterwards. Laurie, I am a cashier. Someone put a bag of my son's favorite candy on my belt. I burst into tears and ran away. It's been 6 years, but it still happens. I am so sorry, Laurie. I get it. Totally. And good for you for just walking out and feeling those emotions and getting through it. And good for you for continuing to show up each day. Despite that, I think that's amazing. That's crazy strong. Groovy Witch, I'm volunteering to ride with you should you need someone to hold you here and now. Thank you. I appreciate that. Lisa says, all I can say is Tony would love the Beyonce hair from the Menopause Fan. Yeah. Totally. I'm looking forward to getting to the point, because I cry so much. I feel like, I got bags under my eyes. I feel like my eyes are constantly swollen. But that's okay, because it's part of the process. And as much as I cry and I do have my more, breakdowns, if you would call it that, I have really happy times too. And that's what surprised me so much about this whole process. And I've come to learn that, and I learned a lot too from these books, that you got to celebrate those times when you do feel great. It's okay. It's okay, like this book says, right? It's okay that you're not okay. But it's also okay that I'm okay sometimes. And that was a big thing for me, is having moments where I was just living and laughing, when I would spend time with people. And I'm so glad that I had friends here right after Tony passed, because I was able to have those moments of overwhelming grief where I would have also so much happiness. It's just waves. Yep, Chantel, yes, waves seem to be a common experience with grief. It's probably our mind protecting us from unrelenting pain. Ooh, that makes so much sense. Yep, Lauren, never see the tears coming when they hit at the worst time, right? Tends to be the way too. I've gotten so okay with, I used to, when I would walk Odin, I'd cry every time we go on a walk. And now, hardly. I go on a walk and maybe like 1 out of 5 times, which is still pretty often because I walk them 2 to 3 times a day. So maybe every other day. Now on one of the walks, I might still cry, but sometimes I'm crying where they're kind of happy tears even, and tears of gratitude. Like I'm so thankful that I'm here and able to go out and walk this dog. And I put clothes on now when I walk the dog. I mean, I wasn't going out naked. I was going in my pajamas. And then I thought, I can't go outside in my pajamas and walk the dog. That probably looks bad. So I put my robe on. It didn't help. Those first few weeks, it was, those of you who've gone through loss, sometimes it's just hard to get dressed. But now I get dressed. I get dressed. I'm sure the neighbors appreciate that I'm not walking around in my robe anymore. I'm also not avoiding my neighbors anymore. When I walk out in, I'm actually stopping to talk to people. That's new. That is definitely new. And I even told one of them that he died. I realize that when I go out and I meet people, I don't have to tell everybody right off the bat that, that this happened. Nose blow break, hold on. Okay, I'm back. Yep, you never see the tears coming. Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you for the hugs. Oh, thanks, Kay McNally. Or McAnally? I like it because it's big and I can like cross my legs underneath it. It's just really comfortable. Ann says, I was furious at my husband for dying, not all the time, but it would pop up. He's been gone for 18 months and it's a process. Yeah. And I'm so thankful to hear from so many people who did lose a spouse or significant other because it helped me understand it's a process. I was shocked that I could even feel happiness. And I can. And I do. It's like I'm feeling all of the darn feelings at different times. And it is such a roller coaster, but I'm just going with it. That's why I love doing my Scientology news recaps in the morning, because it really helps me. It gives me a really set routine in the morning. I have to get dressed. And I'm just able to, I enjoy it. I truly, exposing Scientology is probably up there with the top 3 things that make me happy, that bring me true joy. Because this is an organization, this is a cult that I couldn't talk back to, that I couldn't fight, or I believed that I couldn't fight back then. And now I don't even need to fight them. I don't fight Scientology. I just bring awareness to what they do. I'm not in a fight with them. There's no fight. Even when they, troll and do certain things, they're going to do that. They're going to do that. They're going to come on my channel, and they're going to come on the channel of other creators who dare to talk about Scientology and try to create chaos. It's what they do. And there's regular trolls too that aren't even in Scientology that do that. It's just part of what happens on the internet. But they're doing what they do. They're a cult. Why would we expect anything different? DNV, yeah, the first are tough. Sandy says, no one ever told me that grief felt so like fear. C.S. Lewis. Wow. Lisa says, when my dad passed, it really helped to go to a grief group. All the people are usually the same age and same loss. I've thought about that, but I don't feel like I can handle a lot of other people's loss. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. I think later, at some point, I don't know, I've never done anything like that, but I would not rule it out. Lauren, not feeling guilty for having moments of happiness. Yes, that was huge. Because I thought, how can I be happy at all? And you know what? You know why I'm okay with that? Because Tony and I talked about it. And he specifically said, I want you to be happy. When you're happy, be happy. I know you're going to be sad. And then when you're sad, be sad. But, you know, the last words he ever said to me before they intubated him, when they put him on the ventilator, was, I love you, and I want you to have an amazing life. And then he wrote a note when he could write when he was awake that said, you can do anything. And because we had those conversations about after and about how he didn't want me to feel bad or guilty if I felt happiness and joy even without him. And that was such a huge gift because it allows me to feel that happiness and joy when I'm feeling it. And had he not told me that so many times, I think I would struggle with it more. I really do. I think I would struggle with feelings of happiness and joy and excitement about the future. Because him and I talked about it. He was excited about my future. I wasn't then. I'm getting that excitement back. And it's what he talked about. You're going to do so great. You're going to be able to do, you know, anything that you want to do. And I didn't see it because I would tell him I don't want that. I mean, I want it, but you know what I mean? I would rather him be here with me, not sick, able to do these things with me. And he kept saying that, you know, I'm going to do it anyways, and I should do it anyways. And at the time, I didn't really want to hear it, but now I'm so thankful for that because I'm trying to do that. When I'm having a good day or a good hour or whatever it is, I'm leaning into it, and I'm happy and I'm excited. And exposing Scientology makes me happy and excited. So I'm so glad that I'm able to do that and do that here and do it with all of you. Monorailer, yeah, and you're allowed to have pajama days. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had a full-blown pajama day. I should probably do one soon. I should do it when Lana's here. My sister, you guys might have met, some of you may have met my sister. She's been on my channel a couple times. She was trafficked by Scientology into the sewer when she was 14, and she has an amazing story. She's been coming to sleep over one day a week. We're going to try and do that, sister sleepover, and I think that's really, that's been helpful too. And I think it's good for her as well because she's mourning a loss as well. You know, in my family, it was Lana that was closest to Tony. Out of everybody in my family, everybody loved him, but Lana and him had a special relationship, and they would play music together. She'd come over and play her ukulele, and he'd play guitar. Yep, Elena, feel all the feels, crying is perfectly fine. Thank you. Yep. Ann says, my Jim and your Tony want us to be happy. I truly believe that some days are just harder than others. So true. So true. Hey, Cubana Chica. They always said life goes on, but I didn't think they meant it. It does, and that's a good thing. Yeah, Lori Hart, you're right. That is such the interesting thing about it, is life does go on. Right after he died, I'm like, how are traffic lights working? How are stores still open? How's anybody doing anything? Life does go on, and it should. And he wanted it to as well. I mean, he was excited to find out what happened after he died. He wasn't afraid of dying. He kept saying, I'm excited to find out what happens. And that's what he would tell me too, that I started to understand that by him telling me, you should be happy and move on. You need to, you know, still be you and do what brings you joy. Because he said that that's what he was going to do. He didn't know what happened after we died, but he said he was going to have a great time and he was going to make the most of it. And so I believe that wherever he is and whatever he's doing, that it's that. And by me having those 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 moments and the times where I'm happy, I'm excited, and I'm doing things. You know, last Sunday I went to the Polo Classic with my friend Kelly, and I had so much fun. And Tony would have loved that. And I realized too that by me still going out and living my life and engaging with people and having fun, I'm honoring him. That was his wish for me. And whatever he's doing, I hope he's having fun. Knowing Tony, he is. So it makes it okay for both of us. Bo- Boxer Heather, that's very kind of you to say. Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of color we got going on today. Me and Taz, as long as you are feeling things, you'll be okay. I'll start worrying about you when you stop feeling things. Yes, that's so true. That's so true. Thank you for that. It's such a great reminder. LJ, being a caregiver is challenging. It's hard to remember to take care of yourself. Now you're left with yourself to care for. All your feelings are valid. Love to you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Uh, Bad thing, I love your hair. I'm just now realizing you maybe cut it. Yeah, I did. I actually cut off a ton. It was probably like down to here. It gets so heavy when it's long, and I get so hot, you know, thanks to, well, summer and menopause. It's just more comfortable. Yes, Arkansas Flamingo, thank you to the mods for getting rid of the trolls. We get more when I go live like this on my phone, just because of how the whole algorithm thing works. I think more people see it. Thank you, Mayor's Girl. I appreciate that. You're doing great. It's good. You can come in here and it helps you. I know you're helping a lot of others too. I hope so. And the comments that I missed too, I'm going to go back and read them. Yeah. Thank you for the super sticker. Skipper the geriatric chihuahua. Good morning, honorary chihuahua. That's cute. Candy's Life asking if one of the mods can put up the PO box. LJ, you and Tony helped me so much to be able to take one day at a time. Appreciate what we still have. Health challenges aside, we're still here. We just haven't lost what really counts. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Hey, Skipper the Geriatric Chihuahua, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. And Mayor's Girl, you too, welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. For members, just so you guys know, we're putting up more emojis. You get custom emojis. There's some members only content. I'm trying to do a members only video once a week. And then some other content. And with the members only, I pretty much get more into a lot more behind the scenes. Some things with my family and different stuff. But more behind the scenes stuff. I'm so sorry. I'm so behind on this chat. I'm going to go back and look at all the comments and stuff. But I think Kathy says you may think we are helping you to heal, but you need to know you help us too. So thank you. I appreciate that. That's something I never thought would happen. And I hear from a lot of people that, you know, that they have found healing as well on this channel, and it helps them think about things and look at things in a little bit of a different way. And that's exactly what it does for me. That's why I appreciate the point of view of those of you never in Scientology, because you see things so differently. And there's things I can talk about with my friends who are ex-Scientologists, but it's just another point of view. Hold on, I gotta wipe my nose quick. Oh, glass is all coming off. Real mess here. I appreciate that, Kathy. Oh, Becky, thank you. I'm glad you love the outfit. I found it on Amazon. I'm the worst. I dislike shopping. I went 2 weeks ago into some shops with my sister and a friend of mine for the first time in, oh my gosh, probably over a year, I think. Stooky, that's a really good point. Thank you, Lori. Nothing on me is fake. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you being a member. Thank you for being here. You're allowed to feel however you feel, babe. No one can tell you how to grieve. Thank you. Yeah, that's so, I get it. Well, I appreciate all of you, and I'm so incredibly thankful that you join me on these lives, and the recaps and the other ones too. I think I'm going to, on Sundays, I'm probably not going to do a recap video unless, something really crazy happens. But I will, I'll probably do, maybe just I'll do a check-in video like this too, because it really, I find it helpful, and it gives us a chance to catch up, where when I'm doing a video and then if I'm interviewing someone, I don't get to talk to the chat as much. So maybe we'll make this our Sunday thing, is I'll come on and just be able to, talk with you guys like this. Thank you, Scent of Scientology. I appreciate that, Mock. All right, everybody, let's wrap it up. I'm starving. Ooh, maybe I'll go to breakfast. See if my daughter wants to go. Yeah, why not? I'm already dressed. All right, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate all of you so much. Show that like button some aloha, and check your subscribe button as well. Make sure you do. I had multiple people email me and say that they found themselves unsubscribed and had to resubscribe. Thank you for checking, and thank you for hitting the subscribe button again. Yeah, nothing on me is fake. Breakfast out is the best. Oh, Goosebump was the original pancake house in Edina. You know what? I think there was an Edina, but there's one in Minnetonka. That's the one we went to that Nora absolutely loved. She loved it. So, well, we all loved it. It actually is really good. I hadn't been there in forever. But yeah, if I don't see you guys later today, which I probably might not, I might do a members only video later. I got to do that in the next day or so for sure. But I'm going to get going on that freaking garage. I'm trying to finish it and do some other stuff. So thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to my mods too for jumping on without a huge advance warning and being here too. You guys are just the best. And you truly do help keep the wheels on the bus in so many ways and keep me propped up. I feel like all of you are just carrying me through these next several months and however long, and I appreciate it. All of you. Thank you so much. Everybody get out there and have an amazing cult-free day. Yeah, go have some pancakes.